Hello and welcome to the instructional video on collecting and submitting the Rxight pharmacogenetic test specimen. This educational training program is brought to you by MD Labs. The learning objectives for this session are to 1. Learn the proper technique for collecting buccal DNA specimens from your customers. 2. To learn how to complete the Rxight requisition form. And 3. To learn how to submit your customer's DNA sample to MD Labs. When a customer expresses interest in purchasing Rxight, you should ask them if they want to use their FSA or HSA health account, as the Rxight pharmacogenetic test is eligible for both programs. You can also check to see if the Rxight pharmacogenetic test might qualify for insurance coverage, based on medications being considered, and qualifying ICD-10 diagnosis codes. After you complete the payment transaction, you can then open the Rxight box. When you open the box, you will notice several components. First is a welcome pouch, which contains step-by-step instructions with the lab requisition number sticker affixed in the upper right-hand corner, an Rxight DNA collection sponge, and a specimen bag. The box also contains a 2-part lab requisition form, which can be used if you do not have access to the online requisition form through your provider portal at www.rxight.com. It is preferred that you utilize the online requisition form to submit the information to MD Labs, as this will improve the accuracy and speed of processing the requisition. The 2-part paper form is only for backup purposes. We will now complete the online lab requisition form. Go to www.rxight.com. Click Login. Click Provider, and enter your username and password. Once logged into the portal, hover over Requisition Forms. Choose either Cash or Insurance, and a new requisition form entry will open up. You will need to enter the requisition number, which is located on the Rxight DNA collection sponge tube, as well as on the front lip of the box and on the step-by-step instruction sheet. Choose your specimen collection location and whether the PMR will be conducted face-to-face or remote. You will then enter the provider information. If information for this provider has already been entered, you can select that provider from the drop-down box. Otherwise, for a new provider, enter the provider's name, phone number, and fax number if available. If the provider wants to be notified when the Rxight report is released, click Yes and enter their email address. Choose how the provider's authorization was obtained. If you wish to document a verbal order, choose Other and enter the date, time, and person providing the verbal order. Then enter the provider's address. You will now enter all patient information: first name, last name, email, phone, and date of birth, and then ask the patient the race or races with which they identify. You will then enter the patient's address, city, select the state, and enter the zip code. In the prescribed medication section, you will enter all the medications, Rx and OTC, that the patient is currently taking or has been prescribed. You will notice that this section has an automatic partial search feature. As you start to type the name, medication options will pop up, allowing you to select the correct medication based on the few letters you typed in. It is important that you select a medication from the list, as opposed to typing in the whole name. This will help ensure that the information is provided to the lab correctly, without unintended misspellings. After you've listed all the prescription and OTC medications, you can then add any additional information to the following section, which may be relevant to the lab. Then answer the final 3 questions, which provide important information for the pharmacist conducting the PMR. Once the form is complete, click Submit. If anything was missed, the form will highlight in red the areas that need to be completed. Once remaining areas are complete and the requisition form is submitted, you must print the requisition form for the patient to sign. This printed and signed requisition form is sent to MD Labs along with the specimen. Make 1 copy of the signed requisition form for the patient and a second copy if you need to maintain one for your records. If you're not able to access the online requisition form, you can use the two-part paper requisition form that was included in the Rxight box. You will need to complete this form, including all the patient and pharmacy information. You and the patient will sign this form. The top white copy will be returned to MD Labs, and the yellow copy is for the patient. We will now demonstrate how to collect and submit the DNA specimen using the Rxight DNA Collector Sponge.
Each Rxight DNA package contains one collection kit for single use. You should not eat, drink, smoke, or chew gum for 30 minutes before collecting the sample. Open package from the end with the Open Here arrow. Remove collector by its handle from the packaging. Ensure the sponge tip does not come in contact with any surface prior to collection. Place sponge as far back in the mouth as comfortable. Caution should be used when inserting sponge into mouth to avoid choking. Rub along lower gums in a back and forth motion. Gently rub 10 times in total. Repeat rubbing motion on opposite side along lower gums for another 10 times. Hold the tube upright to prevent the blue liquid inside the tube from spilling. Unscrew the blue cap from the tube without touching the sponge. Turn the cap upside down. Insert the sponge into the tube and close cap tightly. Invert the cap tube and shake vigorously 15 times. Once you've collected the DNA, place the cap tube into the plastic bag containing the absorbent pad. Peel the strip and seal the bag. Place the sealed plastic bag into the cradle inside the box. If the signed provider authorization form has already been provided to MD Labs, then you can proceed. If it hasn't, have your provider sign the provider authorization form and include it with this kit when you mail it back. Peel the strip located on the box flap and seal the box closed. Place the box into any U.S. postal mailbox and ship to the lab.
The pharmacist should staple the receipt from the purchase and a copy of the signed requisition form to the step-by-step instruction sheet, and provide this to the patient as their record of the transaction. The pharmacist should also inform the patient that an email was already sent to them from Rxight, inviting them to log into their portal. The patient should expect another email from Rxight within 5 to 7 working days, informing them that their test report is available and providing directions for scheduling their personalized medication review session. It is during that session that the patient will come to understand the results of their Rxight pharmacogenetic test and the implications for current and future medications. Thank you so much for your time listening to this presentation. If you have any additional questions, visit us at www.rxight.com. Call us at 888-888-1932 or send us an email. Thank you.